Well, hello! Mwah, mwah, mwah! Welcome to the Magical Mystery School, and thank you so much for coming back to Symbols of the Tarot Class 19, and we're going to be talking about Key 18, the Moon card this time. So this is also a little lunacy here too, right? So compared to this, this was at nighttime. We're still on our fool's journey here and going through seeing the stars at night. So this is kind of like more like we're sort of in that twilight time. We're dozing back and forth. We're waking up a little bit. We're sort of in this very dreamy state. We don't have a whole lot of mental clarity quite yet. Um, and, after the key 17, we're starting to feel a little bit vulnerable too. Because after going through all of this stuff, we're feeling, like we really cleaned out a lot of negative energy. But our confidence and sense of self-worth are still a little fragile yet. We haven't really tested them yet. So we can be susceptible to fantasy and imagination and distortion and that kind of thing. I sort of liken it to like with a rebound relationship, how you can, you work so hard to get rid of that icky person, whoever it was, whatever they were doing, and you sort of take care of yourself and you're feeling better, you're getting out there a little bit, and the next thing you know, you're dating the same guy basically, or gal, whatever it is. And you feel, and hopefully you figure this out in a few weeks, not months and years, and you kind of get down on yourself and that sort of thing. So just remember with this key that you are still going forward, but you haven't quite shook everything yet. But just to also remember that this fantasy and imagination and creativity that this key brings also can really help you get in touch with the artist within yourself. I mean, you can like not only just drawing art, but like cooking, sewing, singing, dancing, any kind of form of art, working in your landscape and creating the most beautiful backyard on the street, that kind of thing. So just remember that's also part of the creativity and the real beauty of this card. Now, another thing that this symbolizes is what's called the body or the corporal intelligence, and that's really the intelligence of the body. Because since we're working, and this also symbolizes sleep, so since we're kind of in that sleep area, just remember sleep time is when we do our most healing and most repair work. And that's not only just our bodies, but our emotional bodies too. So, just remember that a really good thing to do, like just before you fall asleep, if you're not feeling well about something, just think, when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm going to feel so much better. I'm going to feel so good. I'm going to this or that, or or I guess you're supposed to say it in the present. I'm feeling so good tomorrow morning. I'm going to feel like, or I feel like doing this or that. When we look at our tarot tableau, we're up to stage 4 here of our Fool's Journey. And remember, this is our Emperor, our logic and reason thinking. The energy flows down to Justice, where she's poised to act. She's got her sword in her hand and her scales, and she's gotten that reasoning and that understanding. And all of this is coming down into the Moon card, which is basically feeding our subconscious so that we can get that cellular healing on that deep, deep, deep level. All righty. Well, I think I'll just put you on pause for a minute now, and we'll talk about the card in more detail. See you soon. Okay, so here we are. Here's the Rider-Waite-Smith deck Moon card, and here's the BOTA, and there's me. Okay, so when we look at the Hebrew letter for this key, it's Kof, and it means back of the head, which would be the cerebellum or the medulla oblongata. I love that. And the thing that's so interesting about the medulla oblongata is that it actually stays awake when we're asleep. That's the part of the brain that's keeping your heart pumping and your lungs breathing and all that good stuff. So what the back of the head is referring to is that it's a referring to the process of awakening. And just a little spoiler alert, key 19, the sun, we'll talk about that next time, but that is the whole head, the head, whereas this is the back of the head. So this is really talking about before you're fully awakened or illuminated, right? It also astrologically, this card also stands for Pisces, mutable water. And I know some of you might be saying, well, the moon card should represent the moon, shouldn't it? Because the moon was our high priestess. Remember that? And that's because this card is really talking about this process. Now, Pisces is the final sign in the zodiac, so we've really completed a lot of things, steps towards our goal. But so that's why this key does relate to that Pisces. And then the moon is that, that virginal cosmic fluid stuff, and that's what the moon is in our charts too also. Okay, now the ancient ruler for Pisces was the Wheel of Fortune or the Jupiter card key. This is, and what that's referring to is hopefully by the time we've gotten to this stage of our unfoldment, we've started to understand that there's wheels within wheels. I mean, maybe you've heard that expression before. I think that movie Hugo, if you've ever seen that with all the clocks and gears and everything moving, it really makes me think of this Wheel of Fortune. But, the universe, when you ask for something from the universe, it takes it a little bit of time and energy to get all the right wheels turning and, interlocking together. Can I put my hands under here with that? Having everything fit together, those cogs in a wheel, to get things to happen. So if you want a new job, it takes a little bit of time to get the right boss in place, to get the right location in place, and duties and functions, and get you in the right place. So that's what that's referring to. Now, the modern ruler is Neptune, or the Hanged Man, where we're really feeling like we're aware of that our personality is part of this process, that we can actually make changes to channel spirit through our personality. The sign or the planet that's exalted in Pisces is Venus, or the Empress key. And this is referring back to that imagination and creativity, that really the highest expression of the Venus energy is creating beauty, and just being creative in general. The color for the Pisces, or this key, is the red, violet, or magenta type color. The note you would intone while you're meditating would be natural, to get in touch with this one. And those of you who are numerology fans, 1 + 8 is 9. And here that gets us to the Hermit card. And like I said, I always see the Hermit standing on the top of this mountain here, right? The mountain of our great work, of our unfolding of our consciousness, shining this light down on us so that we can find our way up this path here to higher consciousness. Also, it's interesting to note that the Hermit card represents Virgo, and Virgo and Pisces are direct opposites on the astrological wheel. Okay, so let's see, what's next? Oh, well, let's look at this pool of water down here. Now, that's going to be the same pool of water as we saw in the previous key, 17. the star, and also the pool from Temperance, the key 14. Now, whenever we see inlets like this is referring to our personal subconsciousness, more these little inlets, whereas when we see that stream of consciousness, that's more of a broader, more collective idea. So remember that, though, that this pool is that great cosmic soup. I think of it as, of subconscious and unconscious. I think of it as like, you remember the movie Ghostbusters? Do you remember that slimy stuff? Well, that's getting pretty thick, but this is that same substance before it's become solidified into the 3D. Now we've got this lobster type creature, crawfish coming up out of those waters and going through the mud and the soil and the rocks and then into the plants. And again, that's telling us, showing us about our trip through, almost our evolutionary trip up through this, from this cosmic sea up through the soil and the plants. And this field here is also a cultivated field, showing how humans have affected the plants too. We go through this dog and this wolf, and that wolf always, when I first started doing this, for some reason that wolf just totally creeped me out. But anyway, and this is showing nature, our 3D, creation here in nature. And the dog, though, is representing humanity's effect on this wolf by, creating basically this beautiful artwork of this whole different kind of animal out of the original natural animal that we were started with when we started this whole process up through from the cosmic waters here. Now the path, as you can see, is a very well-worn path. So many have gone before us, and many will come behind us on this path. And like I said, I think in an earlier discussion, that this always reminds me of the Yellow Brick Road from The Wizard of Oz, and that author was interested in this occult studies too. We have the ups and downs here are very obvious, and those are showing how we do have ups and downs. I kind of see this card as a 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We do have ups and downs through our spiritual process. I mean, we're trying different things. Is tarot good for me? Is astrology good for me? How do I meditate? Do I try this kind of meditation, that kind of meditation? So it really is we are trying a lot of different things. But when we look at this path overall, we can see that overall its trajectory is up. And I do believe that in my heart and soul, that we do become better, whether we like it or not, as we go through our life we're going through now, as well as the lives that we have come from and are going towards. So there is always this steady progress upward. Now the 2 towers are built by just good old basic human beings here, and it's showing us the boundary. Once we get past those 2 towers, we are out of the known and into the unknown. So that's another thing that feels kind of scary about this card, is that we are being asked to go beyond our comfort zone, beyond those 2 towers, out into the unknown. Now we're seeing the moon itself up here, and these are showing the different phases of the moon, the full moon, and then the new moon and the quarter moon also in this one. I have heard that it's representing an eclipse. I don't quite see that, but I have heard others talk about that. And remember that the moon itself doesn't have any light, right? It is just reflecting light. It's like a mirror, right? So again, even though this is showing solar energy, it's showing that it's being reflected back to us. And then we see all these yods, or the little fire symbols from the Hebrew alphabet. And we've got 18 on the BOTA card, referring back to the 18th key. But we only have 15 here. Now, for both, they are the, sort of the spark of life that's coming down onto our 3D creations, and giving us, just remember, every cell in your body has one of these sparks of life, that it's a living, breathing, conscious little element in there. So I kind of think possibly that these 15 in the Rider-Waite-Smith might be referring back to our good old devil here, number 15, because part of what we are, so far my focus is doing good, we are having to remember those down cycles, and like I said, maybe falling back into those old patterns, and then kind of wanking ourselves up and go, wait, I don't want to be doing this anymore, I want to keep, I want to step upward and forward, not go down and backwards, basically. So that's just something that I kind of came up with. So again, just to let you know, the moon card does represent our Pisces, and that organization of the cells of our body. And before I forget, let me just show you. Here's that historical Marseille deck, and from the Renaissance, and you can see a lot of the same ideas are expressed in here. And another card I wanted to show you, I kind of have, the last few lessons have been so long. Now this is from the Gilded Tarot, which I just love this deck, but it really shows that workings of the the wheels within wheels, and really shows that off quite well. And then here's from that what's it called, the Sacred Tarot, I think it was called. Sorry if I've forgotten. But anyway, and showing the phases of the moon, and the wolf and the dog, and the lobster is always very prevalent. And then this one, I got a new deck. Yes, people, I spent another $25. This one I thought was just so cute with the kitty cat there. This is a very modern deck. That's why even if you move to a more modern deck, I think it's good for you to know these archetypal symbols, so that you can feed those into the newer decks, and still get the good information, and still have your basic foundations there. But again, just remember that this is, a key of Pisces. So if you're feeling a little unsure, and if you are a Pisces, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just remember, there can be some, you can be susceptible to fantasy and distortion, and maybe not that clear a thinking. You'll need to step back and think about things. But remember, this is also a key of telling us we have cycles, we have pathways. We are on our path to awakening. We are going forward. So on that note, I'm going to say bye. Just remember, from there to here, from here to there, funny things are everywhere. Bye. See you next time, and we'll talk about the sun.